Hi there, my name is Bill Rowe, and I'd like to thank you for checking this channel out. If you love Mu-Trons as much as I do, and I love these things, you have come to the right place. So the question today is, can you combine a Mu-Tron 3 with a Mu-Tron Octave divider? I strongly suggest that you try this. I've done it for years. It helped me make a living playing bass. These things are workhorses, and they'll give you that synthesizer sound. So the first thing you've got to do is combine them properly, and I believe the best way to do it is to run the Mu-Tron 3 into the octave divider. I've done it the other way, and I didn't like it as much. So what's important is this little patch cable right here that junctions them together, that runs the output of the Mu-Tron 3 into the input of the octave divider. You want the least amount of resistance possible there, so you get all the frequencies going to each unit. And it'd be nice to have a low capacitance guitar cable and a low capacitance cable going to your amp. That way you're delivering everything that you come up with to your amplifiers with no loss of signal or tone or anything. So I'm going to start off just turning on the octave divider. Let's see. Here's the straight sound. And then octave divider. Now when I turn on the Mu-Tron 3, it's got about a 3 dB boost, so you kind of have to adjust your volume control. Now notice that I use my low B. A lot of times an octave divider will not track that. I kind of used my fingernail, got back close to the bridge, so you can get away with it like that. But anyway, that's with the Mu-Tron in the classic Bootsy setting. That's with this control up here in the low position and this in the up. And then you can see where I've got the controls on the octave divider. You can adjust these to your taste. This is what I tend to like. Also, sometimes I use the stabilizer, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it sounds better with it off. You just use your ears for that. And then it's also got this ringer, which I don't ever use. And it's got this bass-only sound, which sounds strange to me, but to somebody else, they might think it's, really good. So got a lot of things to play around with here, but mainly I don't use the ringer. I use the stabilizer, and I just use the effect. And then I've tried doing it the opposite way, running the octave divider into the Mu-Tron 3, and that wasn't getting it for me. I like this position right here. So I'm going to be playing some covered little bits and pieces of covers so you can hear what this thing sounds like. I'm going to start off with George Clinton's Atomic Dog. And I think I've got everything on. Hope I don't. Here's it just with the octave divider. Now we're going to turn on the Mu-Tron with the octave divider. Now, you've got options here. If this is not sounding good in the room, this actual position right here, you can try this position, high and up. That's a little treblier, which is great for the octave divider. But when you turn on the Mu-Tron 3, kind of get into duck land, if you ask me. But some people really like that quacking sound, so that'll give you that. Now, this has basically got 4 positions you can fool around with. This one here, low and down, You hear this a lot on recordings, not necessarily on bass, but other instruments. That's just the effect. That's with the Mu-Tron 3 and the octave divider together. In some rooms that may be a problematic sound. You won't know until you're there. But anyway, and it's a little. I think it's a little hard on the speakers, but it's a great sound. So now there's a Whitney Houston thing. I'm gonna do a little bit of How Will I Know. And whoever played the synth bass on that track was excellent. I mean, it's really good. So I'm gonna try to get close to it. So got the octave divider on. So the basic riff on the tune. So there's that sound. Now, you can also go back to the bootsy sound here, and that's pretty good too. Alright, now, the next thing I want to talk about is your strings. I know there's a big move these days towards flat wound bass strings. When these things came out, a lot of guys were using flats. I was. Flats are going to sound good on the A, D, and G string if you got a 4-string bass. Below B, if you have a 5-string or something, I don't know, with a flat wound. It might be an ugly sound, your speakers might not like it, but the A, D, and G are going to sound good. But you don't get all the upper harmonics that you get with a round wound string, and Mu-Trons love those things. So that's something to think about. But like I said, if you're really into your flat wounds, you might want to try some Bright Flats by GHS. Or ground wounds. They give you a little more high-end frequency and you'll get more of that round wound effect, but you've got more of the thud that a flat wound will give you. So that's something to think about. All you guys that are good with a pick, you could probably do amazing things with this. I don't dare try because I'm terrible with a pick, so I'll stop right there. So anyway, there's a lot of things you can do with these, but the type of strings you use can be critical. And then once again, the cabling. You know, I can't emphasize this enough. There's a lot of guys out making low capacitance cable now. The newest one is a company called Runway. You might want to check them out. If you're on more of a budget, Hosa, H-O-S-A, makes really good low capacitance cable at good prices. So it'll help you get the sounds that you want, you know, without breaking your wallet. So that's about everything I've got to say here about combining these things. Now, if you got a couple of old ones and they've been sitting around a long time and they're making scratchy noises, or you're not making a good connection through the jacks, I recommend you use this deoxit, at least to clean your jacks, at least to clean the 2 jacks right here that are hooking the 2 things together. And this stuff is easy to use. I'm going to demonstrate what I do. You gotta shake the can up pretty good. Get yourself a patch cable or guitar cord. Get a napkin. Coat this part with the material, and then plug it into the jack in and out about 3 or 4 times. You can run it around in a circle if you want to. Let that sit for 2 minutes after you've done it. Do it on all your jacks. You can even do it on your bass if you want to. And this will help get rid of some of the oxidation that's on your jacks. You'll get a brighter sound. You'll get a louder, fuller sound. And it's all with this stuff. You can buy it at Guitar Center. It's not cheap, but it's worth every penny. And, you know, you might want to use some gloves so you don't get on your fingers. You don't want to get this stuff on your strings. Of course, unless you've got flat wounds, you can wipe it off. But this stuff makes a huge difference. I highly recommend it. So that's everything today. Hope you enjoyed this. And if we do another one, it'll be on Mu-Tron maintenance. It'll be everything I know. Thanks again for watching this. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.